the topic I want to talk about today is art and my own self-esteem. And yes, again, I have a little thing with notes to keep myself on track. So, as art is, specifically drawing, is one of my big things that I can do, it's also a major source of positive effects on my self-esteem as well as negative effects. And I just wanted to talk about a little bit of my history with drawing, and by a little bit I mean it's probably going to take up most of the video, and then the thing about the self-esteem is going to be like a footnote like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. Anyway, so I've been drawing seriously since 2006. It started in a sketchbook with a shitty picture of a clone trooper, and from then I was basically just drawing Master Chief over and over again, stuff from Halo, and fuck, and just Star Wars stuff in general. Then I got into Naruto a lot and other types of anime, and I made OCs and a persona based on Naruto, really. I was super duper into Adventure Quest as well, in particular,
Oof, sorry about that.
in particular there was a race, a class of, like, Dragon Mancer or something? It wasn't Dragon Slayers or Dragon Hunters, it was ones that used the power of dragons and could turn into a dragon at some point, and that was just... So I tried to copy that style a little bit. Then I got into VG Cats heavily, which is where my actual OC started developing properly. So like I made an entire cast, which has now been cut down to like two of the original characters. And I made an entire massive comic series. And then after that, I got into Sonic, and arguably my art quality took a massive dip because I was trying to emulate that style. And, oh shit. I was also into Control-Delete comics, which, in perspective, I didn't enjoy.
In a certain way, Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer. And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor. No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. Some cliffs are too sheer or too slippery, and the player is constantly, unremittingly in danger of falling and losing everything.
You don't say! In danger of falling and losing progress. Yeah, so I was unironically into Control-Delete. I thought it was, like, the fucking epitome of good comic series, but, you know, that's kind of a footnote for this video.
Again. Keep on trying, don't let it get to you.
Fuck. And from then on, I really started getting into furry stuff, was drawing my persona all the time, and, even started, like, getting into drawing more adult stuff to explore my sexuality. Then I had a massive emotional and psychological breakdown in my last year of university, where I ended up destroying all of my sketchbooks, and deleting all my art, and deleting all my profiles from the internet. This was because, so my parents have never been particularly, welcoming of furries, and, you know, diverse in-
This thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mary Pickford.
He's right. Yeah, my parents were not particularly... My parents are not particularly fond of, you know, the kind of things I like doing. And because my dad in particular, wants to keep a positive reputation about himself. I was extremely worried about, you know, how that would impact him, and I wouldn't want to, you know, ruin him. That's also part of why I had lots and lots of issues with coming out to them as well. But, you know, that's all in the past, and if you check my pages now, I've been regularly making art for about 3 or so years, with 2 or 3 pieces a month at the least. And yeah, I used it to, again, help explore my sexuality and gender. No! No! Oh! No, 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 no. Okay, okay, okay. So, I can get rid of that now. So, where does this leave me in terms of art and my self-esteem? So, even though I've been... I've been on and off working on art as a major hobby for about 13 years. Wait, 13 years? Is it really 13 years? Oh yeah, I'm 26 this year. Yeah, okay, so a very long time. And there are people my age, younger, older, whatever.
Anyway, when you start sexy hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree, and a lot of people never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in sexy hiking is real.
Okay, yeah, there are tons and tons of people who are far more experienced and draw much better stuff than I do. And at the same time, there are some people who have, like, do art and aren't necessarily as good as I am, or as experienced as I am, and they still get more followers and likes and stuff like that. And it can be really, really frustrating and disheartening that there's no real way to measure your skill and your talent other than, you know, how many people are enjoying it. And this is something that I struggled with a lot and still do. But, oh no, no, no. Ah, no!
The soul would have no rainbow, had the eyes no tears. John Vance Cheney.
So, when I think that my art's not good, and I really hate it in comparison to that of other people, Alan gave me some really good advice, and that was, there is probably someone out there that wishes that they were at your level. And that's something that really, that really speaks to me, and that really helps, because not only, like, it just kind of validates your anguish and, I suppose, pain at the same time as going, well, actually, you know, you can do something with
The pain
this
I feel
shit.
now is the happiness I had before. That's the deal. C.S. Lewis.
And, so that makes me think of, you know, if I keep going and, like, if I keep dishing out encouragement and hoping for the best and trying to get better, then one day I'm going to be at the point where, like, the point of someone who I wished I was before, and then that person who wishes they were as good as, like, they were at my level of skill, then, you know, maybe by then they would have reached the level of skill that they were trying to achieve, and that just...
I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities, a still and quiet conscience. William Shakespeare.
Fuck. Yeah, it makes me just the idea that the grass is, like when people say the grass is always greener on the other side, it is always greener on the other side. You don't have the full story. And as much as you might use things you produce or compete with other people to try and find some kind of success or internal happiness, it just doesn't work. The other thing is, like, using...
You cannot now believe that you will ever feel better. But this is not true. You're sure to be happy again, and knowing this, truly believing it, will make you less miserable now. Abraham Lincoln.
Yep, that's a good quote. That's right on what I was thinking about today. Or talking about right now. Yeah, using... So, for a lot of people, or at least I'm assuming for a lot of people, because they've been like, big mood. I use feedback, not feedback. I use the numbers of retweets, reblogs, likes, and stuff like that, favorites, to try and gauge how good my art is. And seeing lots of other people get, like, in my opinion, who aren't as skilled as I am, get more, like, I suppose, interactions, that eats at me a little bit too. But again, that's not only is popularity not an indication of how good I am, it's just who's seen it and who's interacted with it. Like, that's literally it. And at the same time, just because someone likes something doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad, because there are lots of, like, shows with a cult following that are pretty damn bad. Hell, even this, I wouldn't necessarily say that this game is bad, but, lots of people probably wouldn't enjoy it. But I'm enjoying it. And... yeah, it's just... a lot of the time it's about your social connections as well, because I spend most of my time being silent and not interacting with other people, because I find building and maintaining relationships to be daunting and frustrating. That also means that I haven't really built any connections with other people who are on my level or better that I could sort of, you know, work with to get myself into the spotlight. And you're probably listening to this and going, oh wow, you're trying to make yourself popular and not build friendships. And not specifically anymore. Sometimes the feeling comes back. It's a very, like, destructive way to look at doing anything. But it's from a business point of view. I want this thing, and I will do whatever I want, or whatever I can, to get up there, and that leads you to being an absolute bastard. Because, like, obviously, if you're just trying to connect with other people and form relationships to better improve your standing, then, you're being a bit of a bastard, especially if it's for your own gain. So, I have rambled a little bit, but I guess I just want to wrap up by saying that I've been drawing for ages. There are people who have been drawing for far less time, who are younger than me, up to a decade younger, who are already producing things that are better quality than mine, but that's them. This is me. I should encourage those who are better than me and those who are still not as experienced as me to do their absolute fucking best, because everyone's comparing themselves to someone else. That's just the way that things go. And as long as we're comparing ourselves to each other to obtain self-esteem, everyone's going to be miserable. I wasn't really listening to that sentence as I was still saying it because I was concentrating, so I'm hoping that that was profound. And I hope to see you guys in the next video, or I hope you guys see me in the next video, because I'm gonna be in the video, but then I won't be seeing you because...
Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Mary Fry.
I think that's a good spot to stop it.